Welcome to the 2012 Aloha Clinic goal line training video. We're going to start out on the first play with an umpire mechanic near the goal line. And it's a dive up the middle and it's pretty close. And watch the umpire's reaction when the pile lines up. He turns quickly, gives a very visible signal to the wing official on the near side. Well, I've got some words of caution on this. When he turns up and gives that excited signal, he's turning away from any possible dead ball action, and also the official on the other side of the field that may have marked him short. I mean, he gives this signal. You might have a guy running in from here saying, no, I've got his knee down, and now we have conflicting signals. And we're not watching the dead ball pile, so this guy's going to grab somebody where he doesn't want to be grabbed, and then his buddy's going to see that and kick that guy in the head, and then he's going to come up and do something else. And we're missing all of that action because we're turning away from our primary responsibility, which is officiate the play and all of the dead ball action until we get the colors separated. If the wing guys come in and they need help because they can't see, and in here it's very difficult to see, but if they can't see, they'll come in and ask for help, and you can give it to them at that point, and then you can make a late signal. Play number 2, we're going to talk about some mechanics around the goal line, and we know in a 5-man, if we snap from the 5, the wing guys are going to go straight down. But even if we're not inside the 5 or at the 5, if there's a snap and you read pass, then you need to get down there anyway. And also the line to gain is the 2-yard line, so there's a couple of lines that we need to watch. In this case, I think we were a little late getting there, and then we ruled that the guy was down, when in fact this was a fumble and a recovery by the defense. And that's why everything is so magnified at the goal line that we have to focus. Now, you've got help. Not all of these guys are going to be looking at this action, and not all of them are supposed to be. But there's a very good chance you've got help at this look by one of these other officials. So since you've made the line to gain, and since you're right next to the goal line, just shut the clock down. You don't have to make a decision right away. You know the defense recovered it if it's a fumble. Get a couple of guys together and say, what do you think? And if everybody says, I don't know, and you've got them down, then at that point, mark them down. But if you don't, then you can have a guy pull you off of it and turn the ball over. And if you do that, you're going to have to know exactly where the ball was recovered. Do we have a touchback, or are we going to put them at the half-yard line? I mean, this is a tough play that we have to talk about. Something else on this play, this defensive end who's in white, who's rushing, he is guilty of illegal hands to the face for a prolonged hold on the chin of the blocker, and you'll see it as he comes around. Now, as the running back catches this ball and rolls out, you'll see that the ball is out and the knee is up. And that just lets us know that this game is about concentration, mechanics, vision, processing information, and communication. This is a great discussion play. Play number 3, I just rattled off a bunch of things: concentration, mechanics, vision, processing information, and communication. All of that happens on this play. This is an outstanding job by this official who's on the pylon, and also the official upfield, because it's a tightrope game. The pylon's involved, and this official turns. Is he in bounds? He's processing. He's taking his time and communicating. This is a professional job of officiating and a wonderful example of how we should be managing ourselves on the field. Play number 4, another goal line play. This is a rollover for a TD, and we've talked about how we manage forward progress. A rollover forward, we give them the progress. A rollover backward, progress is stopped. In this case, the runner never hits the ground. He rolls over a defender forward. His momentum is never stopped. Correctly ruled a touchdown. Play you don't see all that often, particularly right on the goal line, but this is a great play. Play number 5. This is a pass to the 1-foot line. This is a 7-man mechanic, so you're going to see the guy on the pylon. But in a 5-man mechanic, this all belongs to the back judge if he's not pushed into the end zone by the receivers, and in this case he was not. So when we come back to this view, you'll see the back judge perfectly positioned on the goal line in a 5. In a 7, you've got the other guy, but that's a good call. He was short by a foot. Play number 6, this is again a communication play. This is a 7-man mechanic. In 5, it's going to all belong to that wing on the line of scrimmage as he follows the sideline down. But you can see in this case we've got a side judge who's running alongside the runner, and when you run alongside the runner you lose track of the sideline. So number 1 mistake, he got burnt. He didn't get enough cushion and react quick enough. It's a long play. It does happen. But when it does happen and you have to turn away from the sideline, then before you rule on whether this foot is out of bounds before the ball crosses, you need to check back because you lost vision on the sideline. And it's a communication mechanic that has to take place because inevitably, sooner or later, if you don't do it, you're going to punch up with that touchdown and your wing guy is going to come out and be knocking him out of bounds at the 2 or 3 yard line or wherever the guy stepped out when you weren't watching it. Play number 7 is a 7-man mechanic as it relates to the goal line, and we're hiking from the, I think, 33 yard line. It's late in the game, 3rd and 14. We know this is going to be a pass, and we're close enough to the goal line that we have to be aware of where it is, and in this case the side judge runs by the goal line, and it creates a lot of havoc as a result. He should have just backed straight out, stationed himself at that red dot, and got a good look at this play in a position of safety where he can comfortably look at the action. Also, get rid of this G marker. The only reason that's there is to trip you when you're backing up, and then nobody's going to get a good look at the play. You can see that he passed up the pylon. He did check with the official up the field, but the official up the field missed that foot out of bounds. And had the official on the pylon been in a proper position, he wouldn't have missed that. That would have been very easy to call if he was mechanically correct. Play number 8 is a tweener, and that's the only way I can describe it because it's just so close. You can see that it's a dive right up the middle, real close to the goal line, and there's a second surge by the ball carrier, and the question is, was his progress stopped? Was there any part of him down? Or was he on top of the pile and still fighting for yardage? And this is just one of those plays where you can argue it all day long, and one guy's going to say he stopped, and one guy's going to say he's not stopped. The interesting part is that when he does lay on this pile, it's possible something's on the ground. I don't think it is. But he is pushed back just so slightly and then surges forward. But while he's trying to surge forward, one of the defender's feet kicks the ball out of his hands and it rolls into the end zone. Gosh, however you call this, you're going to be right. Play number 9 is a double action on the goal line. And when we say double action on the goal line, that means the guy is diving or he's laid out and he's reaching. Most of the times when you have that situation, the guy is short. But not every time, and that's why it's such a difficult call because you're so focused on the goal line. Sometimes you don't see where the knee is when it hits, or if you're focused on the knee, you don't see how far the ball is stretched out. I'm going to slow this down. It's very close. Two things to consider are, is his elbow down prior to the ball reaching the goal line? And if it is, he's short. I think it's too close to tell, even in slow motion. The second thing to consider is, does his knee touch? And I'm telling you, that's close. I don't think it does, but it is so close that it's just hard to say. I think it's a good call for a touchdown. And it just goes to show how tight some of these calls are that we're making. Play number 10. This is a pass that pushes the back judge through the end zone. It's tipped and bobbled, and you can see that the back judge continues his flow with the receivers. And that's a great mechanic because we need end line coverage, particularly when the bobble's happening and the ball's bouncing around. You can see it's tipped, it goes off his helmet, may have hit his shoulder, and the receiver gets the ball. And if the back judge were not in a position where he could look into that and maintain a parallel view and rule on the end line, we could have a big problem. But he didn't. He did a great job mechanically on that play. Play number 11, the first thing I want to talk about is the sideline. Look at that huge crowd over there. That's nothing but trouble. You've got to either move that way or that way. And either way you go, you're going to be running into people. Not to mention that if you look back, there's that G thing over there that's going to trip you when you're backing up. Fortunately, on this play, none of that came into play, but let's watch this. It's a play that's real close to the goal line, and the umpire's coming in to take a look. We got the wing guy on the far side coming in to see if he can't figure it out. And the deep guys are just casually coming in. We got to get guys out of there. We got to find out where the ball is. And the wing official on the other side of the field, this is a critical point on the field. You need to get in there. The guy's back is to you. You need to go find the ball. There's nobody that you need to worry about behind you. So goal line mechanic is to crash that pile. Play number 12 is an interception about midway into the end zone. And in this case, our back judge is going to be pushed to the end line, where he needs to be to make rulings on the end line. And as you see, he rotated in, and now the end line is not in a proper position for him to manage his judgment along that end line. Also, the head linesman in this five-man mechanic rolled into the end zone when his responsibility would be the goal line because it's in play on the way out. So there's a couple of things we need to watch for when we have the goal line in play. It's not just from the field of play in, it's also from the end zone on the way out. You can see the back judge is in a good position here. The interception is there, and then he rotates in, which is an improper mechanic. Also, the head linesman, you can see, is now deep in the end zone. Just some things to think about. Play number 13, the last play on this section, is a fumble that occurs just before the goal line. The ball goes into the end zone, ruled recovered by the defense for a touchback. Had it been recovered by the offense, would have been a touchdown. Now there's lots of things to consider when you got the pylon, the goal line, the sideline, all these things in play. And what happened here, and it's very interesting and very difficult to pick up on the field, is that the defender who recovered the ball touched the ball when his right foot was kicking over the pylon. So that would have killed it instantly, still making it a touchback. But it's a great play to look at and things that we need to try to concentrate on in the middle of all this mass chaos. If you can pick that up, man, you are working a game. But it's a great play, great discussion play.
If you got